Welcome to Power Your Profits podcast, your friendly guide in bringing your business revenue to the next level. Listen as host Dr. Susie Carter hears inspiring stories of success from her fellow entrepreneurs and transformational leaders. Prepare to make significant change to your strategies as they unravel the secrets of building multi-million-dollar businesses and the most effective tips on finance, marketing, and sales accountability. If you want to take your first steps towards explosive business growth, this podcast is for you. Without further ado, here is your host, Dr. Susie.
Welcome to this episode of Power Your Profits podcast. I'm your host, Susie Carter, and today's guest is going to take the mystery out of LinkedIn. I don't know about you, but this is one of the challenging strategies that I've had to come to terms with of really leveraging this platform so that we can find qualified leads. And Adam is an international keynote speaker specializing in LinkedIn for entrepreneurs, CEO, and truly global LinkedIn agency. Prominence Global, he has hosted arguably the world's fastest and largest free online LinkedIn training in the event. He has thousands of people registering 5 times each year and is considered one of the most leading authorities in this space. He's the author of 3 Amazon best-selling books, Social Media Secret Sauce, The LinkedIn Playbook, Influencer. Adam's co-authored a 4th international bestseller book called Better Business, Better Life, Better World. He believes in real, meaningful change that comes from learning in the world of entrepreneurship. His purpose is to positively impact 12 million people in need and has surpassed 7 million impacts on the way to that target. Please welcome my guest, Adam Houlihan. Welcome to this episode of Power Your Profit. Adam, I am so excited that you're here. Thank you for being here and being our guest. Why don't you tell everyone what you do and what your sweet spot is?
Hey, Susie. It's wonderful to be here with you, especially on the other side of the world, as we were just chatting before we got started. I'm the founder of Prominence Global, and Prominence Global is an agency that's just 100% dedicated to helping entrepreneurs to position themselves as the industry sage, as we call it. Other people call it authorities on LinkedIn. So we literally only work on the LinkedIn platform. However, we work with businesses and business leaders all over the world.
I feel like LinkedIn is still one of those mystery combinations, right, of tapping into clients. So what would you say that one of your top strategies is about utilizing LinkedIn?
Yeah, it's a good question because there's lots of different ways to use it. So, originally, obviously, we all know it was kind of a recruitment platform or a job-seeking platform, and it's evolved incredibly since those days. And really, what we have the most success with is just really shining the light on the leader of an organization. We don't really work with sales teams. We don't sort of help them to do that cheesy stuff we've all been experienced of, those messages that are really annoying, all that stuff. We really work as, helping them to create really powerful content that does 2 things. It's actually aligned with what LinkedIn is looking for as far as content on the platform. And of course, shows that they're real authorities in, whatever it is they do. And it's through that authority that, people then want to engage with them and want to sort of know more about what they do. And then, of course, there's certain strategies that we implement on the back of that to get them into conversations with those right people. But they're getting into those conversations from a point that those people know who they are, they like what they're about, they've seen their content, and they don't see them as, being only interested in their next sale.
Right. So what are the, I love this because it is such it is a different platform, right? You can't do what you're doing on an Instagram, on LinkedIn. That, let me just say, because I've tried. Like, I'm the ideal client for you, Adam, right? And so are 99% of our audience to go, wait a minute, there is a different strategy. First, let me ask, because I think people are still looking for the silver bullet, and this is a long game, not a short game. Would you agree?
100%. And that's really the first thing that we sort of, when we first have that conversation with people that we're looking at working with, is if you need that silver bullet, we're not the team to help you, because we can't do that for you. You have to look at it as a minimum 90-day process. That once you've kind of done all the work to in that 90 days, then yes, on a monthly basis, you'll have a very good flow of your very warm, consistent conversations with the right type of people. I'll give you a quick example. We had a new client that started with us about 90 days ago, and we just ran his first sort of strategy that moves people into that next step. And this particular gentleman's programs are probably in the $15,000-$20,000 range. And he from his first one, he had a group session where these people were willingly wanted to have come to this group session with him for an hour. And on the back of that, out of the 12 people that were 10 people that were on that call, 6 of them booked as a session off the back of that to talk to him about what he does and his programs and how they were going to become involved in it. So you think about that's like a 60% sort of conversion rate, of which, let's face it, he probably won't convert all 6 of those, but his usual conversion rate at that point is probably around 70-80%. Right. So he'll generate probably $50,000 to $60,000 for this month off that one strategy, and he'll replicate that every month from year on in.
You're listening to another episode of Power Your Profits podcast. We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors. Are you tired of struggling to take your business to the next level? Power Your Profits is the game-changing book you've been waiting for. Dr. Susie Carter, creator of the Predictable Success Method, reveals her proven strategies for explosive growth. From daily operations to marketing systems, this comprehensive guide empowers you to achieve predictable revenue and profit growth. Don't miss out on this invaluable wisdom. Transform your business today. Find your copy at books.poweryourprofits.com. Overwhelmed by the complexity of business profit strategies? Jump aboard the Bullet Train to Big Profits course, a streamlined solution by Dr. Susie Carter. This course is designed to uncomplicate the path to profitability. Imagine being able to identify and execute profit strategies with ease, skyrocketing your revenues. Visit course.poweryourprofits.com and sign up for the Bullet Train to Big Profits course today.
What I find, it's a little bit more time intensive, right, versus running an ad, right? So tell me, what are the musts? Like, first, let's talk about LinkedIn in general. What are the musts I must do? Right?
Yeah, it's a good question. So it's you need either time or team. It's not a platform, say, like Facebook, where, yes, as you said, you can just put together an ad that just runs and does its thing. I mean, you can do that on LinkedIn, of course, that you can do paid ads, but what we're talking about is not using paid ads. This is all organic use. And what it really takes is, someone to be active every day, someone on your team. You've got to be interacting with people and following up with, when people message you. Yes, you're going to get, a bunch of irrelevant messages or stuff that someone can just delete or deal with politely. But you really need at least 1 hour a day, which does not necessarily mean it has to be the owner of the account. It's got to be someone on their team. Or you partner with an agency like us that just does it all for you. That's the bare minimum, Susie. But what it really takes, is creating really high quality content and posting probably about 3 times a week. So when our copywriters create that content for our clients, they're probably spending probably 6 to 8 hours of time in producing that content for that client, which includes a bit of video. There's some video content, status posts, polls, newsletters, all that type of stuff. So exactly what you said. It's one of those platforms where you're going to get out what you put in, but you have to put in some time, or you have to partner with someone else who's going to put in the time.
And so you guys do it for us.
Correct. Yeah. We have basically 2 programs. One where we just essentially take over and do everything for the client, or we work with their team if they've got some team, and our team does some of the work, their team does some of the work, just depending on budgets and capacity, that type of thing.
And so you have an assessment that we can do to really, what I like about it, it has you realize like, I kind of suck at this, right? And not in a bad way, because I think, again, you don't know what you don't know until you do it. And then you're like, okay, all my answers are somewhat. And I think it's important for, like, I love assessments, any kind of assessment, because I get to tell on myself, right? You got to be honest, of course. And so when we do the assessment, then what happens after we do the assessment?
Yeah, so it's been probably one of the best tools that we've created. I had someone just contact me on LinkedIn yesterday, believe it or not, saying, "Oh, I love your assessment because I took it the first time and I pretty much found like you said, I'm sucking at this, but it showed me the areas where I can improve, and then I came back and did it again, and my score changed, and then the advice it gave me changed. So it's kind of like we'll walk you through the process of improvement." But also, yes, show you like where you're probably doing stuff okay, and where you need to up your game, so to speak.
And then how much are you using? Because literally we've hired several people to help us with this, right? So I'm speaking from your consumer to go, I think that's what's important to our audience. What our audience want is, I want the meat and potato. Like, don't give me theory, concept, or ideas. What is the it? So a lot of them are just doing these canned emails and responses, which I find that they don't work. And we did get appointments, but the appointments were, they wanted to sell me then versus, wait, I'm trying to find qualified leads who really want what we have, right? I like you, I don't want to just sell somebody. I want someone that wants to transform their business. What are they up to? How are you guys different?
Well, exactly that. It's all about a content-driven strategy. It's not a message-driven strategy. Those days are gone. I'm not saying it didn't work at some point, and that you think about it. It's generally speaking, you can probably get away with sending about 100 messages a day on LinkedIn, and if you got a 1% conversion rate on that of someone saying yes, that would be exceptional. The reality is, it's we know it's about 1 in 1,000. So you've got to really, really annoy 999 people to find one who is open to having a conversation with you. When you go about it that way, when you go about it, from a higher level, and what I mean is from this whole process of you're having your profile optimized the right way, where people understand what it is you do. And then having a content strategy that really shows that the problems that particular niche in the market is experiencing, and how to solve that problem. Then people just come to you and go, "Hey, I've been following you on LinkedIn for a while. I've seen your stuff. I have it every single day, and literally it's morning here right now. Just before we jumped on, I was just checking a few messages and saying, yep, fine, I'll introduce you to our team to have a chat to them." That's a normal thing. We have people reaching out all the time, as do our clients. However, we also then overlay a outbound strategy that's not that just real cheesy messaging. It's designed where people willingly say, yes, I'd love to take that next step and do something. What that next step is, that's the secret sauce, isn't it? It's not there's not one cookie cutter approach. It has to be designed relative to each what you're comfortable with as the leader of the business, and what your audience we know is are open to interacting with you on LinkedIn. And I'll give you an example of that, Susie. If we came to you and said, "Hey, look, the best strategy for you and your audience is you're going to run a webinar." I'm not saying it is, but I'm just saying, and you say, "Oh, well, look, I'm not comfortable being on camera, or I've never presented before, or whatever." Well, then that's not the right strategy, because it might suit your audience, doesn't suit you. So it's got to be a two-way, designed two ways within what the leader of the business is comfortable with and good at doing, and what their audience is open to doing. Reverse that, and if I said, hey, the client says, "Hey, I love doing webinars. I'm awesome at webinars." I go, "Yeah, but your market's not on LinkedIn is not really open to webinars." Same thing. That's not the strategy. So there's quite a bit of customization in the strategy part, and that's why we have professional strategists on our team that research you individually, your business, what your audience on LinkedIn is, how many of them are there, how we know from years and years of experience of this as to how they will react best to a next step with you, and design the strategy around that. So that's really the difference of what we do compared to just that simplistic old school, just outbound, hey, message people and hope they agree. But like you said, not from the point of where they go agree because they want to pitch you, which is what happens more often than not.
And so you have something called your post formats. What are the post formats in LinkedIn? Like, what should we be doing? Because a lot of times it's just, here's my post, right? Like you said, we as entrepreneurs, right, are generic because that's what we don't know. But you're the expert. So what are those?
So it's two parts. So the first part is that you've got to use a mixture of the content styles. So again, remember, and just probably to put this in context, let me just share some numbers with you. There's roughly 875 million people on LinkedIn right now. Only 1% of those 875 million share content on a regular basis, which means at least once every week. But only 1% of that 1% are creating content that LinkedIn sees any value in. So your numbers get very, very small as to the number of people who are putting out the right type of content. The right type of content meaning that LinkedIn sees value in this for the LinkedIn audience, therefore are openly wanting to organically promote your content. So that's the first part. It's a mixture of content they like. So it's like status posts, short videos, like videos under 1 minute. They've got to be natively uploaded to the platform. You can't be sharing a link to, say, YouTube, Vimeo, or things like that, because as soon as you take people off the LinkedIn platform, of course, LinkedIn doesn't want to promote that post. Status posts with an image, newsletters, polls, document posts. These are all the different content types that LinkedIn likes. So they're going to be much more likely to promote you and your content if you're using a variety of those content styles. And then, overlaying onto that, you've got to have a mixture of content that is, educating the audience, your target market. That's when I say educating, the term we use is called know-how with know-how. And what that means is you're showing that you know how to solve their problem without actually showing how to solve the problem. The reason for that is, of course, if you've solved the problem, then they don't need to connect with you and interact with you because you've just become the free resource that, yes, they're going to interact on your posts, they're going to follow you because you keep giving away all, your secret sauce, so to speak. So yes, the content has to be designed in a certain way that shows you have the skills, or your team has the skills, and the solution is to talk to us about your problem so we can help you fix it.
And so when you say that you guys help with that, so you help with the content strategy, you help with, it's just not here, watch this video and create your content.
No, it's a much more in depth than that. So we have highly trained coaches that train your team on how to create this content and how to create the strategy. Or, as I said, the other option is our team just, our copywriters write the content for you. Our strategists create the strategy. Our team implements all the strategy for you, and you basically just sit back and, now, of course, there's a next step you have to take where you have to engage with the people who show interest. But up to that point, our team just kind of does it for you.
Right, which everybody wants. We just want the qualified leads. Like, help. And the reason I'm asking so much, because I think this is such a missed opportunity with our ideal client, right? They're entrepreneurs who are growing, scaling, and wanting to be more efficient and finding qualified leads versus leads. Anybody can get you leads, right? And I think that's the biggest learning lesson that we see inside of any advertising. All leads aren't good leads, right? And so finding those people, and I'm going to tell on myself, my score sucked, right? So it was average. And one of my coaches said a long time ago, Susie, you are not average. Average means the best of the worst. I'm like, ew, I don't like that. That's not good. And I like, because you give, not only you do the assessment, again, I love assessments, but you look at the content, you look at our profile, the connections, the content, Like, this is such a missed opportunity for most entrepreneurs, to be able to grow their business systemically. That's what I like. I hear the system, I hear the strategy, whether it's done for you or you're doing it, to go, here's the step-by-step, right? Not cookie cutter, right? And that says that on your site as well. What would you say is the biggest missed opportunity that we're doing or not doing on LinkedIn?
Yeah, it's. I think the biggest missed opportunity is just not using the platform to showcase yourself as the authority you probably already are. It's just that you're the best kept secret on LinkedIn. Nobody's seeing you. Nobody knows what you do. Probably, I'd say the number one thing is profile optimization. And so again, like 95% of all those 875 million profiles are not even optimized in a way that their audience understands what they do, nor does LinkedIn understand what they do. LinkedIn wants to promote your profile to people that they want. It's a community. They want everyone to be sort of interacted. But of course, they want you to be able to show your profile to the people they believe would be interested in what you do. So if your profile doesn't tell LinkedIn's algorithms, etc., what that is, then they go, well, hey, we don't know who to show Susie to, so we won't show it to anyone. And that's the biggest missed opportunity.
And so when you work with someone, do you do an audit of what they're doing and not doing? And then...
Yeah, so we go through a 4-step process. The first part is to obviously is to fix up the profile, make sure the profile is correctly optimized. The second part is to go through your connection strategy, who you should be outbound connecting with, but also equally who inbound, when you get those connection requests, why there's most of them you probably shouldn't accept. The third part, of course, is the content strategy. And the fourth part is the conversion strategy. What's the strategy that's going to take all these other 3 parts and get lots of inbound inquiries, and how do you create ethical outbound inquiries where people want to engage with you? So they're the 4 part. That's the 4-part process of how it works.
And then what do you find is the conversion strategy? What are some conversion strategies that you guys use?
Well, as I said, it has to be designed for each individual based on those 3 things, that what the actual leader of the business is good at doing, what their audience on LinkedIn is open to how they want to interact, and how that's done in a way that they see it as a win-win sort of process. But they vary. So there's quite obviously a number of them. Some of them can be just like using assessments, like you said. It might be, as you saw off the back of our one, we get a lot of people go, wow, I see I actually need some help on this. Clearly you guys are the ones to help me. So assessments is a good one. Webinars can certainly be, in the right circumstances, webinars can be good. And I've had lots of people tell me, webinars are dead, that, everyone's got Zoom fatigue and all this, but many of our clients run very, very successful webinars. It can be, face-to-face meetings, depending on if your entire audience resides in the city or state that you live in, then it can be around a strategy of getting them into, say, a restaurant for a lunch or something like that. So there's lots of different strategies that are all dependent on what the outcome should be relevant to the organization, the leader, and how the LinkedIn community is likely to be willing to take a next step. And maybe if I could explain that a little better. So say, for example, your target market is the CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. I guarantee you cannot get those people to come to a webinar. There is nothing in this earth that is going to get those people onto a webinar. So that's what I mean by the strategy has to also, even if your superpower is to deliver amazing webinars, I guarantee you'll never get any traction on LinkedIn if your target market is those CEOs or those type of organizations, because we know they will not interact on LinkedIn in that way. So that's what I mean. There has to be this real alignment between the 3 different sort of pieces of the puzzle. And this is why LinkedIn's a difficult platform, and why people get it so wrong. is because there's not this alignment process that happens. It's just simply, hey, I'm good at webinars, so I'm gonna promote webinars, or hey, I've built this amazing assessment, but the people you're trying to reach are not the type of people that probably need to take the assessment. It's probably someone lower down in their organization so they're targeting the wrong people. There's so many ways it can go wrong.
So the guy that did he got the 6 strategy sessions, what was his price point? Do you know?
As I said earlier, $15,000 to $20,000.
All right. So if you look, even if he closed half of those, right, that's 90 grand. Yeah, because you said 80%, you go, okay, well, some of them do, some of them don't. But if we have a good sales follow-up process, you can come back and get it later. It's not all money now, right? I think the juicy part is they showed up, they listened to it. So I say that because when people look at, well, the investment is X, right? I'm scared to spend that. But if you know, and I think why I love talking to you, Adam, and I'm just present to it again, is one, you're brilliant, right? You know what you're talking about. You have like this no bullshit meter of here's what it is, right? Here's what you have to do. Here's what we have to do. So what kind of investment would I look at if I were to do, invest in this? What does that look like for your company?
I'll work with us. So obviously we're an Australian-based company, so we're pricing in Australian dollars. But if I converted that to US dollars, so we have a program called Academy Events, which means that's the done with you version. So it's where your team would be doing some of the work and our team doing some of the work. You're probably talking around $1,500, $1,600 a month. Then in our full like what we call the Legends program, where everything gets pretty much done for you, then you're talking about 3,500, maybe 3,750. Depends on where the exchange rates go, but sits around about that price point.
Yeah, but if I look at the possibility of 90 grand, like once you get, like you said, 90 days, right? 90 grand, 90 days, and you're spending 3 grand, 4 grand a month to go, yes, there's a risk on the front side, that risk equals reward. And I'm just speaking like I know what my clients are going to ask. And, let me just be transparent to go, oh, I have to do my work. You have to do your work. And together we make it work. And, Adam didn't know I was going this way with the conversation. I'm just so fascinated with this topic because there's so many charlatans out there that are just selling you this widget and gidget.
Yeah. And look, there's plenty of that around. There's no doubt. And the reality, Susie, is if it's cheaper than that, someone's not doing the work. It's just the reality is that LinkedIn is, as you said, it's a bit of a manual platform. There's no kind of just automate a sales funnel and watch the magic flow out the back end. It's connecting with people, it's interacting with people. So either your team's got to do it or you got to outsource it to someone like us to do it. So generally speaking, there's just a cost to do that. That's the reality of it. And generally speaking, programs cheaper than that are going to be kind of like that. Here's this learning platform I built. It's got all the information and a bunch of videos, and work your way through that and ask me a couple of questions. That's the LinkedIn moves so fast. We run a webinar every 10 weeks where we just literally the webinar is to just inform people of all the changes that have happened in the last 10 weeks. We get like 2,000 people registered for every single one of them around the world. That's why these sort of programs that are designed to just cookie cutter style, they're out of date very, very quickly. Because the platform moves significantly all the time.
Delicious. So in your own business, Adam, what's the biggest challenge you guys are facing right now?
Right now, honestly, the biggest challenge we have is getting enough team members to service the inflow of clients that we have. So I don't know if it's like for you guys over there at the moment, but getting really good quality team members is a never-ending progress. We've got 21 people on our team now, and we're literally always recruiting for 2 or 3 people all the time. So that's our biggest challenge right now. Our teams all over the world. We have a team in the US for our US clients, one in the UK for UK clients, a support team in the Philippines, and then a whole team admin team here in Australia. So we've got a diverse team, and we're always on the lookout for great people.
I love it, Adam. Adam, thank you for your time. Thank you for your genius. You are magic. I'm excited. Our customers get to hear from you, firsthand, like your rubber meets the road. I love part of your values are authenticity, transparency. That's important for us as a tribe and a community, as we want the real deal. So anything you want to leave us with? I know you have a prize for us. We love prizes.
Yeah.
Okay.
How about I'd love to just gift all of your community a free download of one of my books called Influencer. And this is basically it gives you the process you need to implement a content strategy. So let's give everyone a free copy of that. And I just want to say, look, I absolutely love the time together, and I hope we've added some value for your community. And even if that's to just bust some myths of things that they thought it was all about, that they now know that not to waste their time on.
Exactly. So we'll have all the link in there in the show notes, and you can find Adam at Adam, tell us where we can find you, your website, your Instagram, your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, the best places is so websites is just prominence.global. And of course, just search for me, Adam Houlihan, on LinkedIn. Make sure you leave me a message. Just another little quick tip before we go, Susie. One of the big mistakes, people send connection requests without a little message as to why you're connecting. So just say, hey, I'm part of Susie's community. Saw your podcast. Love to connect. I promise I'll accept your connection request if you do that.
Awesome. Adam, thank you for your time. Thank you for your generosity. And we look forward to playing with you more and more and more. I just think you're brilliant, and I appreciate you.
Thank you, Susie. It's been wonderful to spend some time with you too.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Power Your Profits podcast. Let these building blocks from today's most successful industry leaders equip you with the necessary resources and tools to finally establish the highly profitable business of your dreams. Want to hear more? Listen to more episodes at www.poweryourprofitspodcast.com. And don't forget to subscribe to the show. Now is your time to rise to the top of your game. So be sure to catch our next episode. Until next time.